How you going? How you going? How you going?
Yes, I'm doing quite fine.
Yeah. What's that? What? You doing what? Five what?
Quite fine.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You had to be quite fine after today's session. So I want to say good afternoon to you. And good afternoon to Riri. How you going?
I am fine. Good afternoon.
Eh, eh. Nice one, nice one. So Shamika, real smiling boy. Nice. So Shamika, it's all in your ball court now. Take it away.
Yes. So I would just like to welcome each and everyone this afternoon to our session. This is where we are going to discuss the effects of COVID-19 on the family, the blueprint. And this evening's topic is depression, right? And not because we are speaking about depression means that I'm going to look sad, right? So that's why I have this smile on my face to make sure that we keep it nice and light. Yeah. So Mike, you can start off with the song, and then we will get into discussing what is depression and the signs and symptoms, and we'll get really into the details. Now, if anyone is interested in sharing their experience live, you can feel free to click the WhatsApp button and we will send you a link to join us live and share your experience during this time.
Success don't
Yes,
come
so welcome,
overnight.
welcome one and all.
Substance over
Share,
hype.
like up, invite everyone.
Sit down on a post and a tweet all night.
Good evening to each and every one of you.
Type while like say them they a studio advice. Me never put them up on no flight. And me never see them a live no tour life. You miss someone now you have so much
So
life.
we want to welcome Suzanne. She's on the inside. We have Stanton, Francois. We have Amelia Burnett. We have Kyla as well on the inside, right? We have Candace Pan. Yes, so welcome, welcome, welcome. So let's get right into it, Mike. So we're gonna get to what is depression. Now everybody uses this word and say, no, I'm in a depressive state, right? Now depression, yes, it is something that is common and a serious illness that affects someone negatively, right? So depression is something that affects persons negatively. It affects the way that you think, the way that you act, yeah, and the way how you feel. So there are three things. So it negatively affects how you feel, how you think, and how you act, right? So depression is not something positive. So like last week we spoke about stress and we said there are good stress and there's bad stress. With depression, there's nothing good about it. Yeah, so Riri, will you say that there's anything good about depression?
I would not think depression is something good because it's a feeling of sadness and it's a feeling that you just don't feel like doing nothing at all. There's
Yes,
things that just don't interest you anymore, especially when you have depression. There's nothing positive you could think about.
yes, very good. Yeah, and that is true. That is true, right? So that's why we are saying depression is not good. It is not positive. It is only negative. It affects each person who would experience it in a negative way. So, yes, it affects your thinking. It causes you to feel sad. It even causes you to feel like you have no worth. You even may lose interest in the activities that you love. Now, some persons may say, okay, you might be going through one day. So now please know that depression is not grief, it's not anger, it's not stress, right? Because what happens is these symptoms, so we're going to talk about the symptoms of depression. Now, these symptoms, it must be experienced for 2 weeks and more, right? And when it is you experience the symptoms of depression for 2 weeks or more, the signs and symptoms must be very noticeable or recognizable by other persons, right? And this means that they will have a change in behavior. So, for someone who may be very outgoing, who may be always up and busy and going around, they're not feeling tired or anything like that, and then you realize, okay, 2 weeks passed, going on 3 weeks, but I am not accustomed. You're saying, I don't know you to be this way. Is everything okay? And then you may realize that person is going through depression. So let's get to the symptoms of depression. Right. So one is feeling of sadness. Right? They're feeling, people talk about this depressed mood, they feel down, right? Then they have loss of interest in the activities that you normally do. Another thing that you may experience as well is tiredness, right? You feel tired, very fatigued on a regular basis. Now, with the fatigueness, you may either sleep a lot or you may try to sleep, but you cannot sleep at all. So sometimes you'll experience either too much sleep or lack of sleep. It could be either or. Now it will be different because you're for somebody who always moving around and then you see them sleeping all the time and feeling tired all the time within over a 2 weeks period and more. That is also a sign. Next thing is you engage in activities with no purpose, right? Purposeless activities. So you may be pacing around. You don't know what to do, you're just pacing. Or you do what they will say is doodling on the paper, they're just writing. Yeah? Or you're wringing your hands. You have this kind of nervous feeling. I say wringing your hands. And you may also have slow movements or slurred speech, right? So your movements, their vibrance start to decrease. And you may also feel worthless. All of a sudden, you're just feeling worthless, you feel like you have no purpose in life. You may even feel guilty. All of a sudden, you're just having guilty feelings and you don't even understand why it is you are feeling guilty. Another thing is you may have difficulty concentrating. And the day-to-day activities, whether it's work, school, right? You need to be able to concentrate on the task that you have at hand. And if it is you're unable to do that over, outside of, 2 weeks past, 3 weeks, you're going on to 4 weeks, a whole month, and you realize, I having problems concentrating, even this making decisions. You may also have, you may have to make a very important decision, or something. It could be something very simple as what to eat or where to go. You have some bills to pay. You don't need to pay this bill first, that bill, or the other bill because you're so depressed. You don't know how you're going to make it, how to make decisions, right? And last but not least, you may have thoughts of death or suicide. So there are lots of signs and symptoms, but you see that last one may have in thoughts of death or suicide. That is the thing that hits the nail on the head, right? Because when we spoke about stress, we have some of these same symptoms were there when you're going through grief. Some of these same symptoms are there. Loss of interest in activities, because if you lose someone that is close to you, you may not feel like participating in an activity. If you're stressed out, you may not be able to concentrate, right? So these are some of the symptoms, some of the signs of depression. And let me just reiterate these signs and symptoms, it must be experienced over a 2 week period, and it must be recognizable by others. Yes, so we will go to our break now.
C'était qu'un jeu retissant. Mais mon Dieu que c'est doux, alors je mène à bout. Il est piqué, c'est pas compliqué. Bébé, pourquoi
You're locked on to Radio IRTT,
j'ai changé la
the
donne,
family and international
dominé.
online radio station.
Je sais pas pour qui tu m'as pris, j'ai capté la tactique. Rom pom pom, je crois bien que tu l'as senti. T'as loupé le coche de la gâchette.
So you're listening to Shamika James
Toc toc toc.
on the effects of COVID-19 on the family development.
Tu t'approches,
We're talking about
et maintenant
depression this afternoon. Very interesting. So you guys join us.
tu m'as dit que tu
You know, share your
Il
thoughts.
m'a dit, baby,
Go to the messenger, share your thoughts, all right?
fais doucement, fais-les.
Very interesting topic this evening, depression. Wow.
Et quand tu mens comme ça, jusqu'à 40%, tu fais la gueule, arrête-moi ça. C'était qu'un jeu retissant. Mais mon Dieu que c'est doux, alors je mène à bout. Il est piqué, c'est pas compliqué. Bébé, pourquoi y'a tout, pourquoi y'a tout. J'ai changé la donne, je vais dominer. Out of your mind.
So as we get back into the session with Shamika James. Yeah, Shamika, where you?
I am right here.
Nice one. Yeah, I think I had the music a little too loud because I'm trying to hear you on two sections. So is that all right for you there?
Yes.
Nice one. So continue. Very interesting. I read in a message. Somebody is saying a very interesting topic this evening. And depression. They're saying with this depression during this state, I know you're going to deal with that. We're going through the COVID experience and thing. How dangerous is depression in this time?
Right. So, before we went on the little break there just now, I would have said that what really hits the nail on the head when it comes to being in that depressive state is where it is you start having thoughts of death and suicide. Right? So we're going to get in. Let us just take a moment to pick up the people on the live. So we have Z on the live, we have Vanessa on the live, we have Amelia on the live, we have Tyler, Kenton. It have some people that we may not be able to see, right?
Yeah.
But
We're not seeing
Candace,
everybody.
Tobago,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right? So everyone who is locked on and listening, welcome, and we are looking forward to hearing you sharing your experiences. And if it is you do feel like actually joining us live, coming on live on the screen, just hit that WhatsApp button on our Facebook page, which is Basic Unconventional Raw Nutrition page, and we will be able to send you a link so that you can join in and share your experiences. Now, if it is you having some technical difficulties, you just WhatsApp 1-868-346-8730. So that is 1-868-346-8730. All right, so this is if you want to join us live and share your experiences. If you experience, feelings of depression, if it is you even, going through a very stressful time, you can join us and share with us if it is you're still going through it, and share how you think you can overcome it, and we will have that type of discussion. Yes, so much love to each and everyone that is locked on right now on Burn Team on Radio Irie City as well. So we're going to go to another break before we get into how this is COVID-19 has, resulted in persons going through a state of depression.
Nice one. you're back, we're back, we're back. Yes, Shamika, you're back in the house.
Yes, yes. So we're going to talk about how it is COVID-19 resulted in persons experiencing depression, right? So before I like really get into it, I would like Rihanna because Rihanna is here with us as well. Rihanna, what is, can you give us maybe one or two reasons why you think, persons may experience depression during this pandemic?
I think two reasons. One, jobs. People that are not working and has to provide for themselves and their families. Two, another reason to go in a depression state during this very pandemic time is especially people that have to pay rent. So I think there's two reasons that I could really think about for now of people going through depression.
Mm-hmm.
Because they will sit down and be wondering and just go in a shocking mood or in a very sad mood or in a mood that's not really interested to them to be thinking about where I getting this money to make groceries, where I getting this money for bills, where I getting this money for my family, especially for single parents or parents who have kids. So it's really, really sad.
Yeah. Yes, it is really tough. Now, as we say, we speaking about the family, right? So depression, can come, persons, the parents, whether it's mother or father in the home, it could be child as well, or young adult, right? So each person in the home, for different reasons, may experience depression. Yes, so Rihanna just mentioned something very important in terms of the jobs, in terms of providing for the family, in terms of paying bills. Now, when it comes to adults, in terms of, experiencing depression or being diagnosed with depression, right? What COVID-19 did is affect the person's ability to have an income, right? And when it is a parent is unable to provide, they will feel guilty, right? Now, this, when it is that they will feel guilty, one, because they know that, okay, my responsibility is to take care of my family and provide for my children, right? Next thing is when it is their house, they are thinking about all these things. Now, there's something called risk factors in terms of having depression, right? And one of the risk factors is personality, right? And if it is a person's self-esteem is low, or they may not be able to handle stress as well as someone else, they are at a higher risk for getting depression or going into a depressive state, right? So that is definitely a risk factor. Even genetic is another risk factor. So during this time, so some people might be like, why this person so easily stressed out? Why are you depressed for? You're alive, you shouldn't be depressed, right? But there are factors that will increase a person's chance or risk of having depression, just as it is with COVID-19. Yeah. So I just want to say that, so job loss, definitely. You're thinking about, what other, before it might have been up and going wrong and they getting everything done. But now COVID-19 came and they don't have that same spark, that same energy because something, or let's say some things were taken away from you. So social life, job. Once a job was taken away or you can't work right now, that is definitely income.
Right.
As it relates to children, young adults, having to adjust to online learning because we know that would have been the case where you don't have the face-to-face classes. Now everything is online. And that could be, quite a stressful situation because one, so now your parents, because they don't have a job, they are unable to work and pay some of the bills. So they might have to hold up on internet bills just in order to have food, right? So you may have trouble, logging into class, or you may not be able even to attend class. And when it is you do, you're trying to catch up with the work that you would have missed. And then online learning is not for everyone. It doesn't feel the same, and some may do better with it, some may not. So that, as well as I being isolated, can lead to depression. Now, another thing that I didn't mention is the change in eating habits as well. For some persons, when it is, that's another sign. The changes in the eating habits of a person, right? So that as well affects, is another sign, is another symptom of depression.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the environmental factors as well can lead to depression. So for example, living in a home where there's abuse, exposure to violence, those are risk factors. So imagine having to be home, right, in an environment that is not conducive to learning or positive thinking, all you see is violence and all of these things. That can lead someone into going into a depressive state. Now, with that coupled with low self-esteem, the inability to deal with stress, so your threshold for stress is very low. So anything can, tick you off, get you having sad, have you not wanting to engage in activities that you normally would, whether it's indoor or outdoor. That can lead to someone going into a depressive state. Now, recently we would have seen that, at uni St. Augustine, they would have mentioned that quite a number of their students would have been experiencing depression. They were diagnosed with having depression because of the COVID-19 pandemic. It really it really changed things around. And sometimes when you can't deal with change, right? It was something drastic. It was unexpected. Some people might say, yeah, I know COVID was coming here. We know it is worldwide, but still, 2020, it still had carnival in Trinidad and Tobago. People going out, they playing the mass, enjoying themselves, going to all the fete, but it really was sort of unexpected. So you weren't prepared for it. Yeah, and when it is you're not prepared and it hits you like a rock out of nowhere, you really, really, really feel it. Yeah, so Rihanna, what are some of the other things that you will say, not just said a lot, what are some of the other things that you will say can lead someone into a depressive state during this time?
Well, I think another thing that can cause people to go in a deep depression, especially in this very pandemic time, what about people that have loans to pay and they are not working and has to think about where they're getting this money to pay for the necessities that they have in their household? What about
Yes.
families? What about families that have now children have online school? So that is another depression for kids as well because they're not getting to really interact and do activities as they will do at school as where they will do at home. So that is another depression as well. But for me, I think depression in this very hard time, it's really, really sad to know that losing of jobs, you have to sit down and think where the other meal coming from. You have to sit down and wonder where you're getting money to pay bills, especially for internet for kids that have online school. And then when kids home, it's more stressful for parents to actually have to make more groceries than usual to feed their kids.
Yes.
And prices of
Yes. So
groceries is high
money
right now.
is definitely something that will come up, right? That thing called money, right? Because people will say, you'll hear old people say, love don't, pay the bills, love don't buy groceries, love don't put food over a roof over your head, right? So money is like a real major factor. And then we will have persons who would have been already in poverty before COVID. So now COVID come and make it a bit worse for some, right? Some people are already struggling to make ends meet, really, right? So yes, that thing, money paying the bills, money buying the food, money pays the rent. If it is money pays the mortgage or whatever, however it is you have to live, bills. There's all different type of bills you may have to pay. All right. And sometimes, and that is where, so you might see, as we said, 2 weeks. So for those of you who are now joining on, we are speaking about depression, and there are some signs and symptoms. And the one that really hits the nail on the head is when it is you are starting to have thoughts of death and suicide. It's like, I can't go on no more. When you're thinking death and suicide, it means that you want to end this. You're feeling guilty, you're feeling worthless, you're just feeling sad all the time, and you want to end it. But all these signs and symptoms, so whether you're sleeping too much or you're sleeping too little, changes in your appetite, feeling tired all the time, those, engaging in activities that are purposeless, hand-wringing, pacing, you can't keep still, losing concentration, right? Those things, you must experience it over a 2-week period, and it must be recognizable by your family or your friends, your co-workers. If it's not recognizable, then it is really hard to diagnose. So it's when people around you recognize the change in behavior, because some people may say, okay, I'm at home, I may not eat, or I may feel sad. And when you go out there, you're smiling and it seems jolly. But the thing about it, when it is you are really in a depressive state, whether it is you are home, at work, at school, your interaction, your behavior will change. It will be like a drastic change. People will be able to recognize it because it is so serious, right? So depression is something very, very serious, and it must be dealt with, right? Because you don't want to reach where it is you're really thinking about death or suicide, and then you feel like, okay, I have nobody to talk to. And then you start thinking, if it is I tell someone that I'm feeling sad all the time, or I'm feeling depressed. Some people have the same with like, oh gosh, this person again, how that negative so, right? But it's not about the person being negative. That's why sometimes persons don't reach out because they fear what others may say. If it is a express that they are feeling depressed, that they are feeling sad, that they are feeling worthless, that they don't know what to do, that they're not feeling like living life anymore, right? And that is when depression is really, really serious. Now, if it is the individual that does not recognize that, we know what will happen. Yes, so we're going to talk about how it is we could deal with and overcome depression. Yes, so we're going to go to a little, music interlude, Mike, and just,
sure.
lighten it up a bit.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. So, as I said, you're locked on another one of our powerful shows this evening. And could I just ask a question? And when you come back, you'll probably answer it, Madam Shamika.
Yes.
Yeah. What about somebody just said, I was reading something that they said, what about children? We always talk about the depression. And what about children? When you come back, you probably might be able to address that. Depression in children. So they were asking some of the signs that we can look for in children. So when we come back, we're going to talk about that. Its effects on the COVID-19 on the family, the blueprint. And you're talking to Shamika James, our social worker here at Radio Irie, along with Rihanna.
So what's fun? Who did this key? If you got a lover in your life, then why you acting like you don't know?
we are back. We are back. Shamika, take it away.
Yes. So I know, Mike, that someone asked the question about
Yeah.
children. So, um, someone did ask about, how it is you can identify if it is your child is experiencing or if your child is, in a depressive state. Now, some of the same signs and symptoms for the adults are the same in children. It is now the responsibility of the parents to be very aware and in sync and notice the changes in their child's behavior. So if it is your child, for example, love, going to school online, right? Because we know it's online learning now. If it is you realize, okay, your child does not want to attend classes online, or they will always, very active. They normally will get up early in the morning. You don't have to wake them up at all. And I realize over the 2 weeks period more that you have to wake them up, right? Or you realize that they are having problems sleeping, right? Or they are custom helping around the house, doing chores. That has changed. Um, or let us say someone who could be in primary school, your child in primary school, you realize that they're not playful as they normally would be, right? Those are signs that they normally will eat plenty, and then when they watch the appetite, it's like they don't want to eat again. So the same sign in adults is the same signs that you'll basically experience, you'll see children experiencing as well, right? And this could be because of the change in, so this is an environmental factor, right? So, we spoke about poverty, we spoke about a home that has abuse, right? Violence in the home. That is a risk factor for the child, right? If a child has low self-esteem and they don't have that confidence to even, interact well online, because some persons they are very good face to face and they feel in themselves. But when they don't understand technology, or let us say the parents who are unable to pay the internet bill, and when they do, they now, able to join in class, and the feeling like, I'm worthless because I'm not like everybody else. I wasn't able to join in classes like everybody else. I missed out on so much, right? And they feel like they have no friends because they have some of the young people, they don't have phones, so they are disconnected from everything else that's going on outside, right? So they don't have any connectivity with their friends as when it is they are in school. That can really, really affect children, right? Because a lot of times children, for the most part, they like to play with their friends, they like to talk, these type of things. And now they don't have that anymore. Yeah? So that will definitely affect. That is the environmental factor. Factors, I should say, that will affect whether a child becomes in a depressive state. Now, what I will say, I just want to reiterate, parents, pay attention to your child's behavior. If it is you had a close bond with them, or you were always very observant, you used to communicate well, you will be able to recognize that your child is not behaving the same. So the onus is on the adult, right? Or even an older sibling may recognize, right? But we want to be, as adults, be responsible. We too might be, as we know, we are experiencing stress, but we cannot forget about our children, even though we are in that depressive state. So let us go to the comment section. All right, so my mom is on the live and she said she was going to ask about the children or youth. Thanks for talking about it. Yes, so we want to big up Anastasia Halls on the live and the big brother, little brother, I don't know what to call it right now, so long I see you. So welcome, Andy. We have Chris, one of the young people on the live, and we also have Miss Raguba as well, who would have been an educator. She's also on the live as well. So welcome, one and all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
welcome.
So we're
Welcome.
gonna talk. So Rihanna, now we're gonna discuss how it is we're gonna overcome. Right, we're not gonna stay into this, depressive state of the discussion. So we spoke about the signs and the symptoms of depression. So for those of you all who are now, joining on, what is very important to know before someone can be diagnosed with depression, they must experience the signs and symptoms over a 2 week period, right? So it must last 2 weeks and more. And persons around, it must be recognizable to them. So we want to hope that people around care enough to see your change in behavior. And they may even point it out to you because you don't want that, you're so depressed, you're even studying, you know what, I'm really in a depressive state. Yeah? So just to reiterate the signs and symptoms, um, feelings of sadness all the time, you're feeling worthless, you're feeling guilty, you have changes in your appetite, so you might either eat more or eat less, right? You may either sleep more or sleep less, yeah? And then you may have thoughts of suicide
Yeah,
and death,
yeah.
yeah?
Yes.
And they're going to engage in purposeless behavior, so like wringing their hands, fidgeting, pacing,
Mm-hmm.
that type of thing. And then you may have loss of energy, so you may be tired all the time. So let's talk about when you recognize it, what do you do? Now, it may not be so serious where you start thinking about death or suicide. You might reach, but it may not be on your mind all the time. Now, these signs and symptoms, because I know everyone asks about, the children, the youths, yes? So these signs and symptoms are applicable as well to children and youth, right? So
Nice. Good one. Well done.
you recognize,
The person is saying thanks very much for that. Thanks very much for that. The person is saying on the messenger I'm reading.
yes, no problem, no problem, right? So we recognize your family members, friends, your co-workers recognize the change in behavior. You yourself recognize, hey, I feel tired all the time. I cannot concentrate,
Yeah.
right? So we recognize it. So what do we do when we recognize it? So Riri, what do you think someone should do when it is they recognize that they are in a depressive state?
I think personally they should speak to someone because, as you said earlier, depression, not as you get into a depression state, you think about suicidal thoughts. No, it will be in them, but it mightn't take their over as yet to commit suicide. So I believe to the viewers that is on the live that you look for a social worker, you look to visit a doctor, or I think another good reason you go to God and try praying. And once you just get to talk to someone about your problems and let that feeling that you have in the inside come out, you look for that trusting person. That person will not think of you being, she always have problems, or what is wrong with her, or because it doesn't matter the age, everybody goes through a state of depression. So that's just my thing about what I think they should do to overcome depression.
Right. All right.
So,
Yes. So yes. So getting help
yeah, most important. Yeah.
is very, very, very important, right? And as Rihanna said, you can either go to a social worker. So we have social workers like myself. We have psychologists. Sometimes depending on the severity of the person's case, they may be even, it's sad, but they may be admitted to the hospital,
Yeah.
right? Because they may have attempted suicide, right? Hopefully it doesn't reach to that stage, but it reaches a state where, okay, I need to speak to someone. right? And we just need to speak to someone, right? So what are some of the things we could do? Is as I would last week we said this as well, is to stay connected, right? So I would like to hope, right? Now everybody may not have somebody that they are very close to, right? But I hope that people out there, children, that they can feel comfortable enough to speak to their parents and express how it is they are feeling, right? Because if it is they cannot go to their parents and express how it is they are feeling, right? Far less to go outside and speak to someone else, right? But yes, so that support system is very, very important. Yeah. So before we go in it some more, we're going to take a break.
Yes, you're locked on to the effects of COVID-19 on the family, the blueprint, and your host being Shamika James, our social worker here, right inside Radio Irie, as we are live also at Radio Irie TT, yeah. And with us is Rihanna, and we're talking about depression. Very interesting, very interesting. Sometimes I just wonder if I depress, yes, Shamika, trust me. So we're going to be back in a minute.
If you put the music first, that's all. While we they on the war and the hype. Work, dance all. So when you see me, yes, I see I. And every tune when me ever write. And every show where we end live. Sweet for the love, we not do it for the life. Never tell you if you bust a shot and quench them. Instead we tell you sell it on a boy a yen. Come we do it for the love.
Beat Spanish.
Hey, folks, all of you guys in outside in listening land. This is me, Mike the Man, and we want to bring some interesting news for you. We want to welcome an addition to Radio Irie. Her name is Shamika James, our social worker, who is going to be on board with Radio Irie. We are going to be starting a new series soon. It's called The Effects of COVID on the Family, the Blueprint. So look out for that. This is me, Mike the Man, saying, welcome, Shamika Jamesy.
Yes.
Nice. So, are you there? Are you there? Because I see we running ads still there.
Yes.
So
yes, ads were running.
Yes,
you know,
I had to keep my eye on the two system to make sure I'm back on. So, did you hear what I said just now?
All right. So my first thing first is that I will ask you, why it is you believe. What are some of the signs and symptoms that you were experiencing for the past 2 weeks?
Well,
so it's not about me taking you seriously.
Right. Well, that's why I started it off like that.
It is about you being able to say, I have been, because nobody, if it is a really not depressed when I come and say, hey, I feeling really depressed and a joke, because we know that depression is a serious thing and it negatively affects you. Nothing positive about that. Right? It's not a joking matter.
It's not
hardly likely that somebody is going to say that they are feeling depressed just to get, as they will say, attention.
Right. That's what I was trying. That's what I was trying to get at.
Yes.
That's what I was trying to get at. Because sometimes sometimes people say they because I've experienced it when I was working with young people in the UK. They always go, I'm feeling to commit suicide. I go commit suicide today. But really and truly, they're looking for attention. So somebody that's why I throw it out like that. If I come to you or somebody come to you and say that, how are you going to treat that?
Yeah. All right. So, Mike, before I answer that, let's go to the comment section,
Sure,
right? As you mentioned, the youth posting.
Yeah.
So we have, Mrs. James, my mother. She asks, 1, can you nip it in the bud? And 2, can you identify someone who has depression simply by what they put on their status, how they express themselves, the words to look out for, etc.? Now, posting on social media is like a very serious thing. Now, if it is, I would say, if it is you, I will come back to the nipping in the bud, right? But we wanna talk about the social media because we know social media people posting WhatsApp status,
Yeah.
Facebook, regular post status, Instagram. They may even create videos or TikTok or whatever it is. Now, if it is you close to the person or you have that social media, with the friend, Facebook, family, friend type of relationship, you will know what the person accustomed posting, what they normally post on social media.
Right.
Now, if it is you see a drastic change,
Yeah.
you see a change. Normally they posting positive things, they uplifting others, and then all of a sudden the things seem depressive, sad. They posting things of feeling out of control or
Right.
overwhelmed.
Right.
Um, it may be they might just post it once, and then you may see continue. Now monitoring patterns of behavior is very important
Right.
because we don't want to just jump to conclusion.
Right.
Now, if it is you do see someone post it for this first time, you can, if it is you really do care, not mind any people business.
Right.
You can just call and say, hey, how you going?
Right.
A simple call or a message. How are you feeling today? And you give them, something positive.
Right.
Positive words. You may try
Affirmation.
to talk and
Affirmation.
laugh.
Affirmation. Yeah.
Yes, affirmations, right? And then if it is the person feels comfortable enough, they then may share with you, okay, you know what I have. So you may see people really, they might be positive all the time and they're trying to hold it in. So
Right.
some people be like, how come this person just commit suicide just like that? Or how come this person, did something so risky? Right? But sometimes some people hold things in for so long that when it is they reach a brink,
Yeah.
they're at the end, it so they may be holding all the stress, all the worry. They may not say anything,
Right.
right? Because some persons are very good at masking
Yep.
how it is they feel, right? And then just like that, snap, and they do something that is out of the ordinary,
Right.
right? But if it is you are just seeing someone posting on so they may post because they don't want nobody thinking, well, they're feeling depressed. So they may be posting nice things all the
So
time,
is that
smiling to
is that is
camera.
that is that a point of trying to reach out to somebody to say something is wrong?
Yes.
Right.
Sometimes it is a point of trying for someone saying, I need help.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's someone's way of crying for help.
Right.
Right? Or you may actually notice, so besides posting, what about the person who posts all the time? And then you
Exactly.
don't see them posting.
Again, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Correct. Correct is right.
Yeah. So they may have like that they do in TikTok. Very, very interactive. You see them all the time on social media and then you don't see them at all. It's like they disappear. Right? That is another sign if you're 2 weeks gone. If it is you, someone, that's why it's important. Everyone, if it is you have relationships with persons, try to be observant, try to be there. That is the connection that you want to have with persons so that you, if it is you really care about that person, you can, reach out and ask how the person is going, whether it's an elderly person, a child,
Yeah.
middle age, it doesn't matter the age, reach out. You recognize a change,
Yeah.
reach out.
Right. Correct.
Yeah? Yeah, so that is very important. So in
Right.
terms of nipping it in the bud, now, to see nip it, now everything is a process. The person would not have come into this depressive state like maybe all of a sudden. So remember, 2 weeks. 2 weeks is a long time, right? At least to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes things may move fast, sometimes it may move slow. But for someone who is experiencing depression, things may move very, very slow.
Right.
Because imagine you're tired, or you're sleeping all the time, or it pains you can't stay still, you can't concentrate.
Yeah.
Things may slow down,
Yeah.
or it may speed up, right? But most likely it may feel like things going slow, and that's where it comes where it just want to end it. Things moving too slow, right? So it will take time Two, if we reach it in the early stages, yes, it will be very helpful so that the person may not reach the stage of really feeling worthless or even guilty or even reaching to the stage of thinking about death or suicide, right? So we want to stay connected, people. We really, really want to stay connected, right? And we have all different platforms to stay connected. We have WhatsApp, Facebook, Messenger, all sorts of things. So before we go into more ways of overcoming depression, let's go to a break.
Nice one. So as I said, we are listening to our host Shamika James right here on Radio IEW as she's continuing the series on COVID-19 and the family, the blueprint. And today we're discussing depression. Very important. You know, it's always good to reach out to somebody if you're feeling depressed, people. And as I said, Shamika James is here. When she comes back, she'll probably give you some numbers or let you know how to get onto her. So we're going to come back to her in a short. This is me, MIKB and MIC, and joining us also is Riri. Or we call her Riri, but her name is Rihanna, right? Come back to you in the next minute. Hey, folks, all of you guys in outside in listening land. This is me, Mike the Man, and we want to bring some interesting news for you. We want to welcome an addition to Radio Irie. Her name is Shamika James, our social worker, who is going to be on board with Radio Irie. We are going to be starting a new series soon. It's called The Effects of COVID on the Family, the Blueprint. So look out for that. This is me, Mike the Man, saying, welcome, Shamika Jamesy.
What you know about going out? Big jet, big check. Don't care, die for my respect. Life, we gon' live it up. Neck, we gon' glitter it up. Dice game, get them, girl. Gon' bet it up.
Yeah, so we back. I don't know why you guys. Every time I look at the live, it seems like you're just going on coming, but you're back inside. You hear me?
Yes, you
Nice.
are running the ad.
Yeah, that's why I watch it. That's why I gauging. We get there. Looking good. We have another question here, Shamika. Somebody was asking, they were saying even now through this COVID with all the schooling that is going on, what about the parents more or less when they have to be around to be teaching their children? Sometimes they get frustrated and because they don't know half of the stuff that's going on. Would you classify that as, because sometimes they give up. So the person say sometimes they want to give up. Is that a part of being depressed that you can't continue assisting your own child to do her schoolwork? Is that part of depression?
No, it all depends. It could be just a matter of being stressed out and frustrated. So they may not become, depressive or going to that depressive, state. Or be diagnosed with having depression. It's just a matter of being stressed and frustrated that they cannot assist their child with their education. Right?
Nice.
It have some parents, they are very accepting, they will just be there to lend that emotional support.
Right.
They may not be able to lend it, academically, but they can be there emotionally and financially.
Very well.
So yes, we know it have parents who are very frustrated at this time because we would have heard of parents saying it's like if these children are getting more schoolwork, like primary school students,
Yeah.
and even some of the preschool, but most of the primary school
Right.
students, you are hearing their parents saying, the teachers just sending a lot of work,
Yeah. So
right?
that.
And it can become very stressful and very frustrating,
Right.
right? So, no, I wouldn't say that it will be a matter of depression,
All right.
right?
Then.
It's
All
only
right.
if it is really recognize a total change in the parents' holistic the behaviors
Yeah.
holistically. Plenty changes over that 2 week period, then it's a cause, like really a more serious cause for concern.
Right. All right. So
Yeah?
yeah.
So
Person.
let's get back
Yeah.
to
Person say
how
thanks
it is.
again. They always saying thanks, so they say
Yes.
thanks again.
No problem. So
Nice one.
let's get back to how, so we already spoke about getting help, right? That was the first thing. And the second was staying connected where, you could reach out to others,
Yeah.
be in communication, having a good vibes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Next thing we could do is keep stress in check. That was one of the things. Keeping stress in check.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to do things that you love, things that make you excited, things that make you feel like you have purpose,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Things that make you feel uplifted. It
Yeah.
and that could be anything,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That could be anything. That could be dancing. That could be reading a book. That could be doing a craft. That could be going out and helping someone in the community, baking bread and giving it to families in need.
Nice. Nice.
Do
Yeah.
something that feels that it gives you purpose. Okay, I have a purpose to live.
Right.
Others are in need of my help. So you may feel helpless, you may feel worthless, but there are things that you can do that can uplift your spirit.
Right.
Yes, so Riri, what do you say to that? Okay, so we'll hold up on Riri for a little bit. Yeah. Um, the other thing is to get moving. We're talking about movement. You see that health aspect when it comes to the physical health and fitness of a person,
Mm-hmm.
that is very, very, very important.
Wow.
Right? So get moving. We know we cannot go outside right now, but you can move right inside the house.
Wait, boy.
Yeah? And I'm gonna plug in
Where want me to move and go? Are you done of space for me to go?
get moving. So sometimes people say, no, I don't have space to exercise,
Yeah.
or I don't have a shoes,
Oh,
I don't
no.
have clothes. All kind of excuse,
Yeah,
people
yeah,
have for not
yeah.
exercising, right? But there are different types of activities that you can do that will have you moving around,
Right.
right? And when it is be able to move around, it helps with your energy. So remember, we spoke about feeling tired.
Yep. Yep.
Alright.
Yep.
So when it is you're moving and you have energy, you could, really and truly get, more vibrant, etc.
Like on a Sunday morning.
Yes. Right? So we have another comment.
Sure.
Right. Would you identify depression by acts of being unbothered, refusing or lack of acknowledging days, time as if you are separate in a world?
Wow. That's a brilliant question.
Now, okay, so yes, this can also be a sign. Just a reminder that this needs to go on for more than 2 weeks. So it just might be a moment. Right now, it have different types of depression, right? So if it is you realizing these drastic changes and even mood swings as well, then you need to go to the psychologist and the psychiatrist. Persons who like really focus and deal with that itself, those mood swings, because it could be so many different things that's causing this. Yeah. So yes, that is a very good point.
Could you name? Could you get some of?
That
Could you give
be-
some? Could you let us know what are some of them? At least 2 or 3.
Can you repeat that, please, Mike?
Can you just name 2 or 3 of those? Some of them, so at least we, Can you repeat it again? What are some of those signs like? What should we basically be? Could you just let us know?
Right. So persons who let us say they become very isolated. So they may have been very outgoing before,
Yeah.
right? They may have been very caring. They care about others basically. I wouldn't say what they say, but they just care for others. And then when it is people come to them to help, it's like they just don't care. I don't want to hear about your problems. I'm going through my own problems. So some of them become unbothered. If it is this is not how the person usually is, and you're starting to see that, that is a sign. This is over the 2 week period, right? So it's not just 2 days or 3 days because the person is stressed out and just need a little time to recover or overcome the stress. It is something that becomes ongoing for that period of time, that 2 week period of time. Yeah?
Right. Very interesting. I like that. I like that. I like that.
Yes, Riri.
We
So I was asking you what you think about, keeping the stress in check and, doing things that we love, keeping moving, eating healthy. Are you in agreement with that? And what are some other things you think others can do to overcome the depressive state?
I agree with
good
you
question.
that they
Very
should
good
keep
question.
themselves active and keep themselves in activities. So I think I will advise even myself and to everybody that is watching on. One, once you have kids, you can go. No, we can't go anywhere, as Shika said, because of due to the COVID. But there's the yard. There's according to where you live, so you could probably go outside and play a little outdoor activity with your kids or even whosoever you live amongst, right? So you'd have cricket, you'd have football, you guys could bake, like especially like if you have siblings in the house, you guys could go to the kitchen and say, well, today we could make brownies. So you do the mixture, you do the icing. You could watch a movie. You guys can listen music. There's things that you can do as well, like listening music and doing workouts. Uh, to me personally, I think making a TikTok video with all these young people like who think that these things are trending with TikTok. So like young youths, you go through social medias and you see a nice video and you want to do a little drama, you go and make a little video, so there's all different types of things you can do to keep yourself away from depression and keep yourself away from stress.
No, Rihanna, so here's what, right? Some persons may ask, now let us go to the comment section before I just add to what is said there, right? So Mrs. James is saying that there are chair exercises too. So no excuse, right? So people, no excuse for the exercises. Yeah. So
Sun may come soon.
let me just plug in and add to what you were saying there, Rihanna. Now, you spoke about yard space, going out in the yard. You spoke about, making brownies, making TikTok videos. Now, some person may say, the person's in poverty. How they doing all these things? What if they don't have a bat? Right? They may have to use a branch. What it is they're going to use for a ball? How it is they're going to play football, right? So for so we want to treat each and every family as, not as others. So we always do things by case in how it is we overcome we overcome the depressive states and so forth. So we just need to be mindful of that. Yeah, just mindful of that. So yes, we can't go out in the savannah. We cannot walk in the road, right? But there are other things that we could do, simple activities that you can do. Some may have, you could play maybe hopscotch or try, it have different games that you may not need much space for. You can play hide and seek maybe, yeah?
Moral. We can play moral.
Yeah, morals. Yeah, so
What
I
about
mean, we
Dolly
have
Cook?
to be, a little bit realistic for everyone, right? So in terms of the exercises and eating healthy, we spoke about, portion control. You want to reduce the refined carbs, right? You need to eat less sugar and you want to try to boost your immune so you have more B vitamins, omega-3. You
Yeah.
get some sunlight. You know how somebody says sunlight could kill COVID? sunlight is very, very important. People laugh at it, right? But sunlight is very important. We need that vitamin D, right? Energize. Yes, we have Mrs. James saying, be innovative. So you want to just come up with ideas, right? Yeah. The other thing is challenge negative thinking. So depression, when it is you're in a depressive state, there's a lot. Remember, we said it affects your thinking, it affects your actions, it affects your feelings negatively. So we want to challenge those negative feelings, those negative thoughts. And how are we going to go about that? How are we going to go about that? One is that you don't want to have that feeling of fear that if it is one you reach out for help, that persons are going to speak negatively of you. You don't want to say because somebody say look beautiful or handsome, you might say that person just saying that. So even though someone gives you a compliment, sometimes you thinking the person have a different agenda. Accept the compliment. Say thank you. Don't overthink. Sometimes you overthink situations. Try your best not to overthink. Yeah? Set schedules so that you wouldn't be limited for time. So you want to have good time management. If you have good time management, you will incorporate stress management as well. So you help decrease your risk factors for going into a depressive state. So let's go to a break and we will be right back.
Yes, so as I said, you're listening to Shamika James, our social worker here, right here on Radio Irie. And we're discussing depression this evening on the show. Very interesting. A lot of people just send in your question because some people send them to me too also on the messenger, and I'm going to read them out as you send them. So we're going to come back in a short. Let's just listen to a little bit of music, all right?
Wesh, Puki, li ho zitti di tutti, guarda come stanno muti. Zero snitch, infami, non li voglio nel mio viaggio. Metto la cintura, parte pronto l'equipaggio. E saluta salute, sventolo una
Kyle them thick like dumpling. Girl with big body jumping. Action, ready for the thumping. Ready for the thumping. Ready for the thumping.
Bad girl step out, I'm stunting. Queen, my ties them thick like pumpkin. Look pon me, big body jumping. My money thick like a caramel dumpling. Remix style of the vocal range. Like I'm beautiful, so me not play. Me no pray, me no chat, me no eye girl. Me money make a girl act suicidal. That girl fake like me weave them.
We are back. Boy, oh boy. Shamika, take it over.
Yes.
Nice one, nice show.
So we're going to go straight to the comment section.
Just now, one of the listeners, sorry, Shamika. I know some people they tend to send anything late. So one of the listeners saying, can we have a part 2 on depression? So much to talk about. Hold on. They're saying so much to talk about depression. It's just not 1 hour, half an hour, but can we have another part of it sometime? What do you say? What do you say, Shamika?
No problem.
Nice.
You can look at it.
All right, good, brilliant. So go ahead.
Right, so we went to the comment section. Poverty is no excuse for not having fun. Hopscotch, put down some stones, run and pick it up one by one and put it on the opposite side.
Oh, Lord.
And that is my mother for you.
Oh, Lord.
Laugh therapy.
Miss James.
And she also said to pray.
Nice. Thank you, Miss
Yeah.
James. Nice one. How many people?
That's Mrs.
Or Mrs. James? How many people you think will think
Yes.
about praying? And that's a good. That's very interesting what she said there, because how many people will find time to really pray? How many people?
I wouldn't say finding time.
Mm-hmm.
You see, when some persons are really in
A bind.
bad situation,
Yeah.
right? It's not a matter of find. So sometimes traveling is not like a find time to pray
Yeah.
per se.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you might be in a sin now and it's like you're feeling like you're at the end, and then you pray,
Yeah.
hoping, pray for the best, pray for strength, pray for health,
Mm-hmm.
pray for the finances, pray for somebody to, pray for health. Yeah. So it's not really a matter of finding time, because when people are in a really bad state, it's not that they find time, they just do it in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And yes, we do have people who will find it, they will set aside time, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and say, this is their prayer,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's 15 minutes, they have a prayer hour. It all depends on the person's belief system as well,
Mm-hmm.
and the support system that they have around them, their support system.
Right.
So all of those, as we spoke about the different factors. So this will be the social factors. So we're gonna wrap it up and tie up everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So wrapping up, we want to say that depression is something that is negative. It affects you negatively. It affects your feelings. It affects the way that you think and the way that you act. And these are, it will cause you to have feelings of worthlessness. You're feeling sad. You're in depressive moods. You have a change in your appetite. You have trouble concentrating, right? You feel worthless. You're engaging in purposeless activities. And what is most troubling is where it is you start to have feelings, thoughts of death and suicide.
Right.
Right? Now, the symptoms, I want everyone to really remember that the symptoms and the signs, it must be experienced for over a 2-week period,
Mm-hmm.
and it must be recognizable by others around you.
Very.
Right?
Yeah.
And what we want to say is that when you recognize this, whether it's in a child, it's in a parent, it's in your, an elderly in the home, a friend, a relative, whomever it may be, what you want to do is stay connected.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get help. You want to get moving, do things that will uplift you and not bring you down.
Right.
And you want to be very mindful of your thoughts and, think more positively and engage in more positive affirmations.
Right.
Yeah?
Well said.
You want to get your vitamins and all these things. Right? So we want to keep healthy as possible. Now, there's another comment.
Mm-hmm.
When last, just now, I'm not seeing just now. I may need to.
You want me to read it for you? I can read it because
Yes, go ahead and read it.
So this is from Ingrid Baptiste James. That name sounding familiar. Are you related to her?
Yes.
So mom say, when last you heard about the game Boys and Girls, Animals, Place and Things? Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, good indoor game that keeps the mind occupied. That's true. When last we really hear about that? That's a very...
I heard about that just the other
Thank
day.
you, Mom.
I did
Thank
that
you.
with some of my students, actually.
Yes, it's true. It's true. Thanks, Mom.
And
Thanks for bringing back the
also
history.
Monopoly
That's nice.
and all is a good
that's
game.
it. Shamika, those are things that we can do. We can start looking at improvising those type of games in the indoors if you can't go outside to play after a certain time. In the night time when we settle and we have that family time, we could look at that. I wonder if people still play Snake and Ladder. What's this? Ludo?
Tic-tac-toe.
What's the next one? Monopoly. Do you think that people play that? That's a family game. So
we have Rihanna saying tic-tac-toe as well. And she's agreeing with this.
Tic-tac-toe.
Yes, it has some things that you don't need money for. You just need pencil and paper.
Exactly.
Right?
Tic-tac-toe. Very nice.
Riri, what are your closing words, what are your words of encouragement for, our listeners out there?
So, this advice goes out to anyone outside there that has depression or that is going through some form of depression. I will advise you all, whether it might be a child, a young adult, an older person, female or male. I will advise you all, as Miss James said, praying, going to God and talking about your problems. Let's get help from God. Also looking for that person on a social media, contacting someone. Also there's on this live there's the social worker, which is Chica, that you could also get in contact with via WhatsApp, via Facebook, via Instagram. And there's also other people that you could look into to talk about your problems. So you don't just think about suicide. Always put your trust into God and always trust someone else that you can speak to and let your sadness and your feelings of depression comes out.
Well said.
All right,
Nice
nice,
one.
nice,
Nice one.
nice.
Nice one.
Thank you, Riri, for those closing words of encouragement to our listeners. So I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone, for locking on. And I want to just encourage everyone to stay connected, be mindful, be aware. You see, awareness is very important. Be observant of your family, your friends, your children, all those you are in close communication with, or you may not be in close communication each and every day, but you want to really stay connected, encourage, uplift, really give that positive energy and that positive vibe, right? For each and everyone around you. Lift up and remember that good things will come. It's not all doom and gloom, and we are alive, and that is what is most important. So, we want to say thank you all for listening, for locking on, for sharing ideas, for sharing experiences, and for your very, very interesting questions and questions that some may not have been able to ask. So we thank you all for your participation, and we look forward to seeing you next Saturday. And as we spoke about moving, we just want to say tomorrow at 7 a.m. we have our Sunday morning workout, right? I will be guiding you through. It is going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to have you sweating. We're calling it Sweaty Sunday. Yeah, that's where we smile, sweat, and shine and have a really, really, really good time. Yes, so just, lock in, look out for when we go live. The team will be there. Gonna have a real, real nice time. Right, Mike? Mike's shaking his head.
Mike, are you okay? Are you suffering with
Verena,
depression
Verena,
or stress?
Verena, Verena.
Yes. Tomorrow going to
So
be real
Verena will
nice.
not be
Yes.
here in the morning. She will be on time for
On
Sunday
time.
morning workout. Not like today.
No, no. I went
Mom say
into
put up your status. Yeah,
hibernating
I mean,
mode.
wait now, where Verena come from? She was only
Yes,
hiding.
I was right in the background. Don't worry.
Yes, so Mrs. James is saying, how about putting up on your status? I am here for you. And we want to hope that when persons do put that, please really be there for people.
Yeah.
When it is you put it up. Yeah,
Yeah.
right? We don't want to say, I
Yeah.
am here for you, and then it's like, oh gosh, why this person
She
bothering
calling
me
every
for?
time.
Really be there.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, really be
whoever
there.
reaches out, right?
Yeah.
And know that if it is that person needs professional help,
Yeah.
because yes, people may say, yeah, they just need somebody to listen to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
We
True.
don't want that, you go and tell everybody, Shane feeling depressive and she's sad.
Yes.
No, that's not what we want,
Nah.
right? You really want a strong support system. And when some people just be afraid to seek professional help, it is okay. When we say get help, we are not talking about just talking to the neighbor. or talking to a friend, sometimes you need professional help because sometimes there could be more than one underlying issue,
Yeah,
right? So get the help. There's nothing wrong in asking for and seeking out professional help.
yeah. Even if you have to,
Yeah?
even if you have to beg.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
Great
Mike,
show. Great show. Great show. Great show.
I don't know if Verena wanted to just say a quick word of encouragement before we wrap up. So, Verena, give a quick word
Yeah.
of encouragement, and then we're gonna end up with some music
Come on. Come on. Come on,
and be
Verena.
ready for any
So,
morning.
Which one? Wait,
yeah,
not
so I
tomorrow
want
Sunday?
to say, yes, boy, exercise
Wow.
time. So my word of encouragement is don't stay in isolation. You know, when you're in isolation, that is the time where the mind could play games and play tricks on you. So persons who know somebody is having themselves in isolation, you go and be there for them, support them, just have a little conversation. Good morning. It doesn't have to be something too long, but let them have that human interaction. And if you find yourself slipping into isolation,
Right.
then you reach out to someone. Because in isolation, your mind really, really plays games on you. Okay, so that's my advice. Do not stay in isolation.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're saying stay connected.
Stay
Yes.
connected.
So thanks again, everyone, for looking on Mike. Play the music. Let's end off on a very nice, high, positive note.
Yeah, man. So thanks again,
Something to
everybody.
dance.
Thanks again, everybody who was locked on this evening. Very interesting topic. And to the listener who asked the question to have a part two, Miss Shamika James is going to think about that. And then we'll let you guys know. So have a good one, everybody. We going over the music.
From you, I'm here. Promise. So, stand with me this time. Stand with me this time. Promise. Stand with me this time. Stand with me this time. Promise. Now, you tell me sleep. Loving on me heart, you feel receive. You will be able to cute like a mixed breed. Girl, you act like Portmore or Westmead. When you get vexed, I'm your best weed. Keep them, so me make your neck bleed. Love when you put up that in my memory. Wind up your body with the knee. Me want you for the rest of my life. One way to count on you in my wife. Proving baby, listen Richie Spice. If me hurt, me do apologize. Ready, I'm here for you. I'm here. Promise, if you fall already, I'm here for you. I'm here. Promise.
I know everybody I go like we, still we irie. Got me no love likes.
Beat Spanish.
Hey, folks, all of you guys outside in listening land. This is me, Mike the Man, and we want to bring some interesting news for you. We want to welcome an addition to Radio Irie. Her name is Shamika James, our social worker, who is going to be on board with Radio Irie. We are going to be starting a new series soon. It's called The Effects of COVID on the Family, the Blueprint. So look out for that. This is me, Mike the Man, saying, welcome, Shamika Jamesy.
Them not like me, but we not response. Fly
out and make them know we from a distance. Come home for 2 weeks vacation. Enough of them still stuck in the quicksand. Enough to hear us see them at the big man. In a Jamaica and them have the hit song. A gentleman me hear a play a Finland. Me never hear them playing a Pakistan. That simple mean we no